What's up, guys? I'm Automatic Jack. I am here with 5 more rank games today. You may notice that my rank is quite a bit higher than it was at the end of our last video. The reason for that is my 5 games are not live. My mic cut out with about a half of the final game to go, and I decided to just go through the replays because my video editing software was being an absolute bastard to me and was not allowing me to merge videos very effectively. So with that in mind, we're going to take a look at the 5 games that got us here. So there will be spoilers. Spoiler alert, they went pretty well. But we will start off with this Gareth Arendi game and take a look at just exactly how well this is working for us. So we start out with a great draw. Great draw. We get the Hermia.
It is by our
Got the Matadus, got the Janus. We're in very good shape. So he plays this mission. And we go straight into ours. We're into our Archeum. So we take our Spear, because we just get that extra bonus removal. Might come in handy, right? Spoiler, it does come in handy. Start out with the Hermia, draw a second Spear. Now we're pretty much equipped on. Plays his Giovanni squad, which sentenced us. First of all, this guy's name sounds like yogurt. He is the yogurt squad. Second of all, he looks like he has stealth. He does not have stealth. It's very confusing to me. But he had stealth at first, and I was mad. So we play the counterattack with Matadus. Ping one off. He plays a second yogurt squad, and in that sentences up everything. And decides, instead of trading, to take off that 2-2 because he has Shadow Walk, and he can use Shadow Walk to keep his guy hidden. Now he has actual stealth on the Yogurts and has the healing back up to 4-4. So he's looking pretty okay. We swing over there, and Angel's Tears just puts in damage to defense. The idea being that perhaps he will trade the Yogurt squad. He does not. He actually trades a more expensive card, a 6-4 speeder into that instead of his 4-4, which was kind of confusing to me. I think he would possibly preserve the speeder, but maybe he didn't have good other options. So he does elect to remove the Janus entirely. But in doing so, I believe he lets the Clonida squad land. Yes, he does. Comes out with a dude who either gives sentence to or does 6 damage to a sentenced enemy. That's pretty good. Didn't really matter if we got flank on the Lord or squad here. We were not looking for it, because if we had traded this off, so Lorder would be the only troop, Lorder would have had nothing to hit, and flank would not have mattered. He does go ahead, though, and use a pretty significant amount of his cards and energy to kill this Lorder squad. I mean, if we look at that, he probably would have been better off getting sentenced on another troop before playing that, and hoping that it would have removed something, because it ended up not great for him. Alright, Furvius comes out, and Kai'Zalane gives us a classic Burden of Duty. A really useful card here, because our troops are high quality. The Furvius squad is high quality. The Sanguinary Guard, Angel's Tears. These are all cards that, if they die and we bring them back for cheap, we're not upset. I mean, sure, there's Dracula squads and stuff in there too, potentially, but Janus's, Sanguinary Guards, those kinds of things, if they come back, we're happy. This time Kai strikes out a little bit. He gives us a defensible position, which is okay. And stun an enemy is not bad. The enemy does, alas, have a means of getting rid of that Sanguinary Guard. And in doing so, is ticking down his mission like crazy. But we think to ourselves, well, we've got spears for a reason. Let's get this 6-4 off the board before it does any real harm. And then we'll go ahead and flank in Janus. We love the flank Janus combo so much. So much. Janus with flank is brutal, because he's gonna stay on the board, enough to get an attack off. Anytime you get a sneak attack off, it's awesome. Hey, he gets his sneak attack off, he stuns the enemy warlord. That's just fantastic. We hit him in the face. We're not thrilled about doing so, but we want to start ticking him down, because at this point it's pretty obvious he's going to get his mission. The only thing we have going for us is he has very few cards. A terrible cough today. Hi, cat. I haven't Excellent cat. What a terrible cough. So we decide to stun what we can see, because while it's not throwing out 6 damage to us, that's probably good for us. Take the hit and run. Weren't really thrilled with the options, but you can't always get what you want. The hit and run, we thought, maybe we can pull the Janus back into our hand, and then flank it back out to do some more sneak attack stun damage. But instead, we get burned down very hard here. And he manages to get us all the way down to 2 hit points. But then apparently had nothing. He had 8 energy, 2 more cards. And did not have an answer for 2 more hit points, or a way to save himself, or anything like that. So, not sure what he had in hand, but it was not enough. Let's take a look at game number 2 here. It is my favorite warlord in the game, Korvax Utterblight, the jolly fat man himself. So we start off with our Janus in hand, keeping our Lazar, getting a Lazar rifle, and we start with the Spectre, which is, okay, the Spectre is great to have, but it's pretty slow. So we'll take the Spear. Spear is really useful. And these first turns go with nothing happening. Okay, so he plays his Demonettes, and we play our Furvius in response. Now, this is one of the reasons I'm very sad that this original video didn't get recorded. You'll have to take my word for it, because what is happening? My camera is just drifting to the side here. You guys want to see my beautiful face, my beautiful coffee mug? It's better this way. Demonettes is one of my favorite cards in the game because it is a common, so it's super easy to pick up. It is reasonably durable for a 2 health troop because it has that rally into stealth if it's by itself. It's sneak attack 4. So often I have gotten 8 damage on the enemy warlord's face in the first couple turns of the game for 3 energy. That is phenomenal. And you got 2 of them. It can potentially do Vengeful Spirit type damage to the enemy with 3 energy on a common. Demonettes is a very good card. I also, okay, so part of the reason I was saying I was really sad that I lost this video, when I played the Furvius, I said out loud into the camera, what's going to happen here is he's going to play a Plague Bearer, hit it with the Demonettes, use his counterattack, and lo and behold, he does exactly that. I've played many games with Korvax. That is exactly what I would do in his position. I was hoping that maybe he didn't have the Plague Bearer. He does. He decides to use the Mutate. Now here comes a strange decision, one that you may not agree with. Well, okay, that went very quickly, but we spear the 3-cost Demonettes. Now you may be saying to yourself, that is ridiculous. But look, the thing has 4 attack, and it's sneak attack. It now has Survivor 2. That means that, let's say it hits us in the face, we hit it, it activates Survivor, it hits us in the face again, and it's still on the board. It's done 12 damage to my Warlord's face, and still exists by that point. It is way too dangerous. We have to get it off the board, and we don't have any good removal options otherwise. We don't have enough energy to flank in the Tiberel. We could Las Rifle Section and ping it, but that still leaves it with enough to take Las Rifle Section right back off the board and have, still have its 2 hit points, so we would have to hit it again with our face. I mean, instead of losing the Las Rifle Section and more HP, and what if he has a Fallen? What if he has another Mutate? Well, he'll get another Mutate from killing the Las Rifle. He has so many ways that he could potentially keep it on the board even after that. We have to get rid of it. It's too dangerous. Alright, so, and now, of course, the game doesn't want to go anywhere. Okay, we'll just go ahead and skip. So he plays his, I used to run these Poxbringers. I don't think they're all that good. They tend to become a target, and especially when we have our death combo of Janus. Playing a 5 health troop into Janus is just, I mean, it's dirty. It's dirty for him, the poor guy. He thought that was going to stay on. That was a mistake. We should not have hit this guy with Raldoron's face. I forgot the fact that he was going to heal anyway. I thought, if he leaves him on the board, maybe I can just kill him next time. No, and he's not going to leave him on the board anyway. He's going to go straight for Janus and take that off, which is a big win for him. Gets himself a mutate, but doesn't have energy to play it, or doesn't want to play it, perhaps. So we kind of gamble here. We figure, all right, well, we can kill the Drakius, or we can kill the Plague Bearer with Drakius, and we have 50-50. And it pays off. Watchers goes down before it can do a single thing for him. There's basically dead energy. He plays Crushing Power, which I have not seen before. I'm wondering that might be a Galaxy in Flames card, because I have never seen it. I don't know if that's the Galaxy in Flames logo. I think it is, though. So we have nothing to do with the Angel's Tears. Can't really do anything there. We throw out the Clown of the Squad, because why not? We get a Hermia off, get a Clown of the Squad up. And he does manage to undo the Clown of the Squad, but doesn't manage to completely remove it. At this point, I'm getting a little nervous. We don't have a ton of cards. We have a decent amount, but not a ton. And I'm thinking, I don't know how I feel about all this. Order Squad comes in, gets some value, gets a bigger card off the table, and we just keep core-backs. But at this point, he's got more cards, or he's got technically half a card behind, I suppose. But he's got the initiative, and he puts out those big blood crushers. Big blood crushers. We decide it is worth the spear to get that giant body off the board. And really here, I'm kind of flailing. Like, I'm not excited about this. I'm thinking, man, we're in some trouble because we're getting gassed out. Like, we don't have a lot of options for draw. We have no options for draw. And he's still got a hand of God knows what. He could have a Demon Chosen in there that we would have a hard time taking off, short of Spectering and hitting with our face. And he could do a lot. He could do a lot. Could have an Eletal in there that he could Path of Blood and make huge. We would have no answer to that. So we do decide to go ahead and get troops on the board. We're going to kind of have to go for it here. So we make some troops big. We just throw out the Drakius Squad for draw, because we did pick up the Furvia, so we can do 2 damage and draw. That's not awful. And might as well get Kaiser laying down to give one more potential poison target. So he has to spend 6 energy to poison everything. Which, and honestly, if I was him, I would probably poison this entire board. He instead elects to just wipe it all out. But we do manage to draw one off of Kai, so thank you, Kai, for your service. And now, once again, we just have nothing. There's nothing to play. This was looking pretty gross. I was not thrilled about what we were seeing here. He does get a reasonable sized board together, but we have an answer for it thanks to Mortat and the Judgment. So Mortat kills both, and then we just go ahead and accept that we're going to get hit in the face. So that evens up the board pretty well. That was probably his big power. Most people don't run 2 copies of that card, and he apparently does not have a lot. He has Path of Blood to use on his toads. Okay, we're not worried about Ward. Ward is generally a good answer. Generally one of the best mutations, because stopping the targeting of that threat. But when it's something with such small hit points in the first place, meh. So we get our Prophecy, and we actually start to turn the game a little bit here. We get the host up. Suddenly we have a board. We're now half a card behind. Not awful. We're low on health. We're very low on health. But we've got, a challenging enough board that he has to deal with it. And he's grasping for cards. He is grasping. He's a very low draw, and Ruinstorm has terrible draw. The only Ruinstorm draw card is Unspoiled Land. And really does not do it for you. So we go for our Populace here. This again makes it even harder for him to poison any survivors. And then we Prophecy Revealed for draw. It's beautiful. Prophecy Revealed and that, whatever the card is, Darkening Skies. Prophecy Revealed and Darkening Skies is an absolutely brutal combo. Huge draw. Huge draw. Now, if he has an Informant Network here, obviously it sucks for us. But it stops him from just poisoning away, trying to poison off this Matador squad. He can't poison the Matador squad. Or he has to spend all of his energy and he's still not. He makes a troop big, but by now we have enough on the board that it makes no difference. Yeah, he has 8 HP. We have more than that in attack damage on the board. And we got a spear in the hand. So I think the third spear that we play this game, spear comes out. Oh my god, the universe does not want me to make this video. It is absolutely trying everything it possibly can. And down goes Gorbax to the indomitable Raldoron. Alright, well that was game 2. Let's take a look at game 3. So Nemiel, this one went pretty quick. This one was a pretty quick game. I wonder if this man is Albanian.
It is by our sacrifice that humanity
His last name, or his name, Hoxha here. Enver Hoxha was the communist dictator of Albania. So hopefully this man is not a fan of Enver Hoxha, because Enver Hoxha can burn in hell for all I care. Alright, so Nemiel has his ability to buff his troops at random, though, in his hand. And it looks like that's going to be his strategy. He does that a couple times during the course of this game, but see, he's forced to choose right there. He's forced to choose between, do I crack a drop pod and keep this small, or do I buff my troops some more? He goes for the buffing troops more. That's a risky play when you start with 30 energy, or 30 health rather. That's pretty risky. By this point, he's already, dropping a fifth or a sixth of his life into the, and this is staying on the board, and he has to make the choice again. He really can't afford to let Janus land. He has a good answer there, but it does give us ping bait. Now, there was an opportunity for cleverness here that totally passed me up until later in the game. I did not realize. I could simply ping the Janus, which would put him back on the board, because it's until he takes damage, it doesn't matter where it comes from. And he would be able to hit Nemiel down to 20 HP. But I was not paying sufficient attention to this, and so elected to just Prophecy Revealed for draw. Still could have pinged my Janus and was just not thinking. I elected to take Spear there over the Crimson Spectre because I figured he's gonna have some big boys. He's gonna have some beef. And the first of the beef comes out. There's Astrovel. Once again, could just ping the Janus. It's painful to watch. But instead, we do the next best thing, which is get ourselves another Janus. This time give him flank and eliminate his troop. In doing so, stunning Nemiel. Poor Nemiel. He's probably not as stunned as he was when the lion literally slapped his head off. Happens to the best of us. So we do lose our Janus, but the spears get cheap. Alright, we see Furvious Command, we play Furvious Command. Simple as. Get a Matador squad out there just in case, and we have an ability to do something with it. Would be nice to get the flank down. If he doesn't manage to kill the Furvious Command, then Host of Angels can put it to work. They'll have an easy flank there. Okay. These are the sorts of big boys that we are looking to spear. And I make a mistake and I go with the cheaper spear. Probably would have been better to play the less cheap spear. But then, in doing so, I mean, I could have played the Judgment. It's better to use Furvious, which is free. So we get that easy face slam there. And Nemiel's already starting to drop. He's looking okay on cards. He's you know, half a card ahead. Got some answers. Got some answers. Does draw us more cards. And makes our spear so cheap. So cheap. We know what to do, though. We have a Pervious command squad. And by God, we are going to use it. Probably wrong there. In fact, definitely wrong. Should have used this one to do that. Because it would have drawn us a card in the process. So, that is a mistake to pay attention to in the future. We're always striving to improve. We are gaining card advantage, though, to go with our similar health advantage and board advantage. When you got all three of those advantages, you're in good shape. Okay, he gets his saber out, which, well, that's unfortunate. That is unfortunate for him to play that directly into spear, or potentially even play it directly into board advantage, which is what ends up happening. Yep. Easy peasy. And once again, we could have just pinged the clown at a squad here and hit him, but it's alright. If he doesn't have AoE damage for 4, then meh. Okay, puts out 3 troops, and we are thinking, oh my god, Spectre time. And then he puts out another troop with 4 HP. Oh man, what a Spectre target. We'll gladly take 6 to the face to heal 8 to our face and totally clear his board. Do 4 damage to him, and just put us in brutal territory. We've got full hand of cards. He has absolutely nothing. He's top decking. There it goes.
Your deeds demand retribution.
We throw in a little angry voice line from our angry warlord. I apologize, Hawkshaw, there, if you were not actually a communist and you were mocking the dictator in question. It is. Okay, so we've got a 4th game here. We'll take a look at Luther, and this one I really wish you guys had seen the original game, because as usual, you know, I like to bitch and whine when we get Luther as an opponent, and oof, I was not optimistic going into this.
It is by our sacrifice that humanity is strengthened.
But I think this Luther was maybe a little bit newer at the deck. Was still trying to figure out how to play it, perhaps. So we pick out the Spectre because we want more AoE. We're just going to need AoE, and we go for his face. We wouldn't usually do that with Raldoron, but we're trying to burn Luther down quick. My commenters who know Luther are always telling me, you know, you got to burn him down quick. You got to do everything you can to do damage to him. That's what we did. Well, once again, we put in a little more damage. Maybe it would have been better to trade straight for the face there, but we took the slightly less risky approach. Less risk, albeit less reward. He is shooting up the energy chart. Now he's pulling ahead. And once again, because we want to potentially just get things on here that can trade for pawns, we'll get some troops in here that can trade for pawns. Simple as. So it does leave us with a pawn in retrospect. Not great. It does 2 damage and creates a pawn for us for 3 energy. That's pretty bad in retrospect. I think it would have been better saved for some AoE. But it also does this. Hey, just here's activated. That was kind of the rationale for playing it, was am I going to be able to Requiem something? If I am, then fantastic. Gets himself a Jaeger. Loses himself a whatever that was, Astartes recruit, I think. And okay, it does a tiny little bit of damage. Okay, Angel's Tear stays on the board, good enough. Drakia's squad comes out to do yet another Requiem, so for those of you counting at home, we've gotten 6 damage out of this Angel's Tear so far, and now another 5. So for a 5-cost card, we've done 11 damage. Quite good. And it's still on the board, so he still has to do something about it. Value. Big value. Alright, and so we make that around 15 damage. 15 damage from a 5-cost card. He goes very wide on Jaegers, and unfortunately we do not have enough energy to be able to Spectre. That is very unfortunate. He does a lot of damage short phase there. Gets in 6. Rough stuff. Our only real option here is to try to counter flood. We could have used Loritor to kill one of them, but that would have left 3, and that doesn't do anything. So he goes around cracking drop pods, and we can tell by the fact that he is attacking with them rather than using their little energy or their 0 energy shot that he is going to probably sacrifice them all off in exchange for some giant damage. Lo and behold, that is exactly what he does. So everything dies. The board is clear. Luther is ahead on health, and has played a fair amount of Implicit's units. He's probably getting very close to Arch Betrayer here at this point. Very, very, very close. We're getting nervous. We can reflood, and he does manage to remove the drop pods. Unfortunately, all three go down. But his answer to that is not outstanding. I don't know. It's all right. We're in bad shape. We're in bad shape. We think that there is going to be an Arch Betrayer here coming extremely soon. We'll get the Warrior Squad out there. We'll buff both up. Could have used Prophecy to draw more, but it's really not a question of how many more cards are we going to need, because we've already got some really excellent cards. It's just a question of how much damage can we do to the face. How quickly. Yeah, so now we know, okay, now it's Spectre time. Now it's Spectre time. He's got 3 targets there. It's going to heal us for 6. It's going to do 4 damage to his face, and that's going to be lethal. His 4 drops him to 8, 6, and 3 is 9, so he dies. I don't believe that he waited for it. Yes, indeed. Okay, so the first Luther that we have beaten in ranked in ages. I mean, in months and months and months. I usually struggle so hard with Luther, and this time we just absolutely rocked him. It was great. Well, we didn't rock him. It was a close game, but it was great. Okay, and then our very last game of the day against Horus Lupercal. The big man himself. The name of the game, as it were. And we start off with some good draws. We got our Judgment Eli combo. I can't quit this. I'm like Brokeback Horus for these 2 cards. You get both together. My God, what am I can't pass it up. I can't do it. It's just too much fun to play. I think it would have been probably better to go for the Host of Angels there than the Shock Assault. I'm not sure why I went for Shock Assault. I think my thought was like I was going to remove some stuff, and Host of Angels was too slow, but it ended up being not as good. Host of Angels would have been better. We do have lots of options. We got our Clownida squads. We got our counterattack. And we just do our little trick. Raldoron's favorite trick. Giving us a slightly buffed up Clownida squad. Let's drop pod. So I was all excited when I see him drop to 1, and then he gets his Mark of Chaos and he's back up to 3, and that's sad. That is a sad, sad thing. But we have a Furvius here, and we make a bad mistake. We play the Furvius on the wrong side. That was... Yes, I know what these things do. Are you kidding me? There we go. Just a bad mistake there. Had free draw and didn't take it. So, learn from my failure. Yeah, it's much, much easier to play the game well. Well, it's harder to play the game well, but it is much easier to win when you play the game well. Looking at this, we feel like we don't have a lot of fantastic options for this turn, so we elect to just give it a bridge and do that. We didn't go for Darkening Skies because we thought, you know, well, what, I buffed 2 of the peasants from Darkening Skies. Phenomenal. That doesn't do anything for us. Here we just played Loritor, because again, what else can we do? It's a 5/5 body, it's unstoppable. There's worse troops in the game. It's got pretty sick card art. I really like the Loritor squad art, especially where it's shooting at crab people. I'm sure Axel Manning does not appreciate that. And it ends up baiting some removal. Yeah, baits out 2 damage cards. 2 damaging cards. Great. That's not bad at all. Basically trading 1 card off for 2 of his is pretty okay. It does cycle. I mean, he's drawn down through his deck about as fast as we are. We would have been drawing faster had we played correctly on Furbius. Go for the Host of Angels. Once again, would have loved to have had a second one in the hand instead of the Shock Assault. I figured I'd get a chance to play the Shock Assault before this turn. It did not happen. Did not happen. So he uses 2 AoEs, Informant Network and Frag Grenade, to crack the drop pods. And takes off one of those. He chooses correctly, takes off. He's paying more attention to what side of me things are on than I am. He's a good player. And now we play our trick. Making the Janus big. Making the Klonos big. But we do not have enough energy, or the card for that matter, to flank the Janus in, so the Janus is left unflankable. Alas. Goes about removing our more dangerous troops, and then he plays this. So Muster is usually the setup for a killing blow, although we're out of range of this. But he uses the Treachery to give them all marks of chaos. And in the subsequent chaos, I panic a little bit. And I forget what I'm doing about, like, I need to crack drop pods so I can hit them with Spectre. However, I forget that fact that I need to play an energy card, and I think I use a Shock Assault on one of them to buff other troops, which is not good. It's not good. Does not work out as planned. So this could have been catastrophic. This could have been the turn that really screwed me over and kept me from getting the perfect video I wanted, which turned out to be a video that I could not show you at all. Anyway, because right around here I lost my microphone. Not paying attention, I play Shock Assault on this, and I'm like, oh, I love my other troops. No. That's not a good idea. It's not a good idea. No. Would have been much better to try to crack more drop pods and just use Crimson Spectre and kill off the ones that I could crack open. Like, this one, this one, this one, and this one would all be dead. Maybe even that one. Yeah, those would all be dead. But instead, and look, I did this out of their order. I should have had this guy out here first. All kinds of screw-ups. By the time I actually made these moves, there were like 4 seconds left on the clock, and I was like, oh god, okay, whatever. Just throwing stuff out there. No idea what I was doing. Definitely tons of misplays in there. So he gets his mission up.
Impressive.
And now it's problems. He did it in the wrong order, though. He should have gotten his mission first, and then... Not the end for him. He elects to do a lot of board trading, which I thought was a little odd. I personally would have gone for my face, but he wants to keep this on the board, I guess. So that's his kind of his plan. Now he's got Marks of Chaos coming up, and he's got all these temptations because he's put 6 temptations in his deck, and he's just got temptations everywhere. So we're starting to get kind of nervous at this point. There's definitely nervousness. Judgment is going to come out, however, and it's going to do work for us. I guess we did have that card all along. I wasn't paying attention. So Judgment gets the combo off. Eli kills a troop and stuns Horus, and we start to bang on his health. But the fact that he has his mission already accomplished, this is dangerous territory. And this guy is now a friggin' 6/6 with poison and probably other things that you can't see. Yeah, he's got, well, he already had Unstoppable, I guess. So he has everything but terror. Everything but terror. And he goes ahead and he just makes it into a greater demon. Which would be awesome. Except we are well armed. We have a parcel of spears here to help us out. And with that in mind, we're like, okay, well, we can just use Sangos here. Beautiful. Take that out, and we can just spear his big fat guy off the table. It gets any respawning of all of his troops. That thing could potentially respawn 5 troops onto his side of the board. That's not what we want to see. Okay, so he uses the outflank, very predictable. We figured, you know, we hadn't seen any outflanks. We figured that Sanguinary Guard was going to be a big outflank target. Does have another informant network as well. Kind of losing gas on cards. Not critical compared to him, considering his card draw power, but we're running pretty low. We're running pretty low, and we decided we're just going to go ahead and do as much damage as we can to face in the meantime. Yeah, including his Gorgor squad. Grogor comes out and decides to terror off the 3-3, which I guess is okay. I think maybe 4 to the face. Usually, Horus players play a much more like face-focused, damagey kind of a game. And this was not that game. This was not. This was board control, tempo moves, and I think a more aggressive Horus that's supplementing his aggressive deck with draws is probably going to do. I don't know. This baffled me when it happened in the game. I was like, how the hell did I heal for 3? And then I realized you can only heal up to your full health. Whoopsie daisy. We're looking good, especially when he drops himself to 7 health, and then we realize we have a Las Rifle section, a spear, and absolutely nothing else. Like, that is the sum total of our resources. What will we do with a Las Rifle section and a spear? He gets himself this 6/6, again, a terrifying card. We do have the Tiberel, potentially, so we're like, okay, well, we're going to play the Tiberel, because why not? We'll play the Las Rifle, we'll just beat him in the face as hard as we can, because we got to do something, and we'll spear this off before it becomes gigantic or gets to hit the Tiberel. And now it's really in God's hands.
Impressive.
He has 4 HP and a handful of cards, and we have a little bitty board, and that's that. He decides to use his Vengeful Spirit there to get rid of the Tiberel. Must not have had his other outflank. It must have been one of those last 7, because that was not enough. That was insufficient.
Impressive.
Yeah, I think it really came down to some bad luck for him that he did not have his remaining outflank, because otherwise that Tiberel would have eaten it. And instead he eats the Rifle section and dies. And that was game 5 out of 5. Okay, guys, well, as we can see, this Raldoron deck is just hot fire. Thank you so much to Christopher Lawrence, who made a bunch of awesome suggestions that really changed the way that I was thinking about this deck, changed the way that I was playing Raldoron. Those comments from you guys have improved my HHL play immeasurably. I mean, I'm a better player than I was 2 months ago when I started making these videos. And I had really kind of stagnated for a few months before that, where I wasn't really improving season to season. I was kind of stuck in the same brackets. I mean, you saw this. We came from like mid-Mars up to, we can look in the log. Yeah, when we played Gareth Arendi, we were in the 2480s. We were in high Mars, the top of the 24s, and now we're like almost midway through the 26s. And that's a huge swing in 5 games. It's 5 games in a row, all 5 victories, and several of them pretty uncontested victories. We had some close ones, but we also had a couple just real kickings, and that's thanks to you. So thank you so much for watching my channel. I really appreciate it. Love the game, love the community. If you like the video, throw me a like, throw me a subscribe. Really helps out my efforts and gets the game out to more people. And other than that, I will see you in the next video. This is Automatic Jack signing out.